Welcome to another 49ers scouting session. We are your 49ers scouts, Grant Cohn, Jack Hammer. We're doing Trey Lance again today. We've done him before, but we were kind of snarky when we did it. We're going to do him again with more of an open mind. He doesn't throw a whole lot in college. These tapes are short. Some of these, you watch some guys, it's like an hour. There's 50 throws. No. North Dakota State always wins. They kind of take him out. He's like Steph Curry. They take him out early. He does enough to win. We're trying to project. The guy has a lot to like. Some people think this guy can be flat out great in a way that maybe no one in this draft can be. I mean, you could argue he's got the most upside of any quarterback in the draft. You could argue he has the most downside of any quarterback in the draft. I think he's the most interesting prospect available this year. Let's check him out. What should we know about this game against Delaware, Jack?
So actually the reason that I chose the Delaware game to take a look at, this is actually the game I think he threw the most passes in it throughout 2019. So, and going back to like your first comment about, the first film that we did on him back when we were a little not so high on him for sure. I didn't realize at the time when we did that game was I think it was like 45-degree weather. So it was really cold. And that might have had a little bit to do with some of those deep balls that were really coming up short.
Yep.
And he only threw the ball 10 times in that game too, overall, after when you take out all the penalties and stuff. So the more I've watched him, the more I've enjoyed and see what you're saying. He definitely has a high upside. He also has, I think he has the lowest downside.
No question.
But you watch him throw the ball compared to the other guys, and you can see the ball jump out of his hand faster. So let's take a look at that. The way the ball comes out of his hand. Let's watch his footwork too, because his footwork I think is the cleanest of between him and Justin Fields. He's cleaner, and that's part of why I have him ranked higher.
And the first time we did it, we watched the film. We really hammered him for his lack of experience, which isn't. I mean, it's fair to point out, but we know he lacks experience. That's a weakness he wears on his sleeve. Obviously, the other one is his accuracy, which seems to be something that certain quarterbacks have improved upon. The thing that we've learned, you in particular, you've done the reporting. It was fantastic. Talking to coaches that have been around him is that everyone says that he has a special mind for the game, not just in terms of his intellect, but how he reacts under pressure in the moment. And that, I think, is why you can get excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. And the more you watch him, the more that I see, the more that I've watched all these guys, the more I see him not as being a guy that's going to take off and run. He does he really does. There are times when he does that, but he doesn't do it as often as Justin Fields. He's not. When you watch him, you see him much more moving laterally along the line of scrimmage when he breaks out the pocket, looking for somebody to throw the ball to than to take off first.
That's why I think when we're watching this, remember this was 2 years ago. He was 19, and think to yourself, you can only think to yourself. Just think. I hate when people say that. Just think. Is this guy really not pro ready? Or is it possible that the 1 year in the 17 games that he spent in a pro style offense, setting the protections himself and the route combinations prepared him better than whatever Ohio State does for quarterbacks over there or Alabama?
Yeah, and that's one of the big things that I got out of that interview that you were mentioning earlier was I knew that he was doing a lot of checks at the line of scrimmage. I didn't realize it was to the depth where he was actually making the calls, the play call at the line of scrimmage, where he had to get up there and read the defense and then we're running this over here and this over here. I didn't realize.
Impressive. He was 19. I mean, maybe other quarterbacks could do it in college. They just don't get a chance to because coaches are such control freaks. But this guy was given the opportunity, and he was so good, he committed 0 turnovers. So he must have been doing something right.
Yeah, he's the only one that was doing it. You watch Mac Jones, he's turning to the sideline. Same thing with Justin Fields, and all of them are doing that. He's one of the few that didn't have to.
And it's not because Mac Jones or Justin Fields are dumb. It's just that the coaches are control freaks, and it's you can see why North Dakota State has had success preparing quarterbacks for the NFL. They actually let them play quarterback.
Yeah.
I
think, that's exactly why Carson Wentz, I think, was so good right off the bat. They were decent his first year, but that second year they really took off, and I think that there's a possibility with Lance of a similar progression.
And remember with Wentz, he didn't have a ton of experience. He had, I think, a year and a half. He got hurt. He had about 600 throws, and that's double the throws that Trey Lance had. But Lance's resume, his numbers were better. So keep in mind.
Yeah, and because they were, I think Wentz only played one full season right there. Their numbers are pretty close to each other when you look at the one full seasons, compared.
No doubt. All right, let's watch the game. This is against Delaware, and it's going to go fast, so let's make it count.
Yeah, Delaware's actually a pretty good team. They're going to come out right here, and it's just a little read out to the right.
They have a DB that got drafted, right? Nazir at something. One of these guys got drafted, I believe.
I'm not sure, but Delaware for a long time was one of the top programs in the FCS 1AA program, and they actually do a really good job against North Dakota State in this game of forcing Lance to have to beat him with his arm, which is why he's throwing more.
I got it. Okay, so first pass of the game is a little quick one, but it seems like he's actually pretty good at the quick throws.
Yeah, he's got his footwork is tight, and he's got, he has some issues with his head bob, but
yes,
what I like about him is he has that ability just to hit his back foot and rip it.
Yep.
This one doesn't necessarily have to do that as much. It's an easy read. Boom, get it out.
Yep.
And then they run the ball here on second down.
But let's watch his ball placement on the short throws, because to be a quarterback in a Yak offense, you really have to throw the ball chest high out in front consistently.
Correct, and that's the one thing with Mac Jones. That's one of the reasons that I like him, because he does that on the radio.
I mean, if you really like Mac Jones, you could be like, he's got a lot in common with Joe Montana. He does. there same stature, same accuracy. I mean, wow. Yeah.
And
that was Jim Moore's comp. He threw that out right away. He said, there's a lot of people I trust that compare him to Joe Montana. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting you to say that, Jim. Thanks, though. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty darn
good. Yeah, he's pretty darn good.
And then here on 3rd 11, they're going to run a little flood concept. So they get the tight end's going to run the vertical. They get the flat, and then you see the crosser. He goes to the tight end, and the tight end just doesn't give him. It's well covered. Tight end doesn't give him anywhere to throw the ball. He allows the DB to drive him to the sideline, and there's really nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's an ambitious read. That being said, that's a pretty good throw.
Yeah, it gets in there.
I mean, geez. I mean, I don't expect a North Dakota State tight end to make this catch, but hey, if he comes to the Niners, Kittle can make this catch.
Yeah, George Kittle, Ross Dwelly, they're both this guy right here, 82. He plays for the Jaguars.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, he's not anywhere near the athleticism of the two guys with the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him credit. He hits him in the hands. Hell of a throw. Really nice. Let's go back and look at the mechanics real quick. Really good shot of the goalpost. Thank you so much. He's got a quick little release. It's pretty compact, especially when he's got a ton of space and can, do what he's been practicing.
Yeah, and he doesn't really have to hitch into the throws too much. He has a really strong arm. He can pretty much, hit that back step, and he might have to have a little hitch, because when you do a 5-step drop or a deeper drop, you're going to usually hitch up at the end of that. That's the way you're taught. But he has the ability to get into it and get the ball out quick.
I noticed you were tweeting about Justin Fields. You noticed that he tends to hitch into his deep throws. Do you feel like Trey Lance might have a more powerful arm?
Yeah, he does.
Wow.
He does. You watch that throw that they showed, that highlight clip yesterday of him doing the trick shot competition throw where he spins out to his left and throws it down the sideline that everybody's doing. And that ball never even leaves the screen. It's so flat.
Yeah.
I mean, the ball just comes out. And that's one of the things that even Coach McAvoy talked about was, it would have been nice to have seen him throwing at the combine so that they could see the trajectory of the ball. And it definitely is. He hit the ball, just jumps out of his hand. When you watch him throw.
Yeah.
When we're watching this film and they're going the opposite direction when we're in this view, when he throws the ball, that thing's spinning so fast that the stripe on the ball looks like a circle.
Oh, wow. See, NFL Network compares him to Josh Allen, which I felt was a little rich considering Josh Allen has the strongest arm I've ever seen. But he really does seem like, while he may not have that kind of arm, he does have the strongest arm in the class.
Yeah, of the 4 guys that we're talking about for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this series here, they've got 4 plays. It's all runs.
Okay.
And they run it right down and score, touchdown on the run.
But the threat of him running the ball is probably what opens this up. 51 freezes. There you go. Now he's chasing. Yeah. Great.
They started off the drive with a quarterback draw.
Nice handoff.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
He's got a lot of experience under center. That's the thing. I mean, people say he's not ready to play right away. What if he's actually more ready to play right away than the other ones? I mean, he played under center. He called his own protections, and his experience might be more valuable than everyone else's.
The mental aspect of that part of it is definitely
yes.
higher with him. And this play right here, we're going to see this play a few times. They really like to run this play where it's just a play action. They get 2 curls on the outside with the tight end running vertical, and it's wide open. I mean, the guys they're playing 3 deep, playing way off. Just look at them. The guy's turning and running. He's got 10 yards either side.
Yep. Everyone's open on this play except for the tight end down the middle.
Yeah, and he sticks it right, but he also, he puts that ball right in the guy's numbers.
And if this were Mac Jones, the ball would have been out already. That being said, what did I do?
Well, it's a little bit different though than the Mac Jones throw because when Alabama, because this is where it's different from what the 49ers do. Because when Alabama, they run it the way the 49ers run these deep curls.
Yes.
Where they run them to about 18 to 20 yards.
Yeah.
Curl. Whereas this is only 10, so he's not able to. He's in position to throw it at about the same time as Jones would.
Yes.
So there's really no delay here. He hits his back foot. He's reading the tight end, and then he comes right off of it and sticks it on him.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, all the movements there's no wasted motion here.
No, see how he hits his top, that hitch at the end?
Yeah.
He does that little hitch, but that's not anywhere near what you see. When Fields does this, he hitches constantly. And that's part of why he's late on throws I get
his feet aren't set underneath him.
Yeah, well, and I think he's just got to he's got to muscle up. It's similar to Zach Wilson. Remember how we talked about that with Zach Wilson, how he needs to hitch to really drive it. It's the same thing with Justin Fields a lot of times.
Interesting.
And I get a lot of pushback on that because he's completing the ball, but there's times when that ball should have been out, and it shouldn't be as tight of a throw as it is.
And you feel that Trey Lance just has a more natural arm power off his back foot.
Yeah.
More confident throwing that way.
Yep. He definitely has it.
Yeah.
And the more you
so
watch
important in the NFL. So important.
Yeah. And he just throws such a nice tight ball. Everything about it, it's really impressive when he throws it. It's more impressive when you watch him throw a ball with the college ball because of the stripe than when he's throwing the NFL ball because you can't see because the NFL ball, it doesn't show the fluttering as much as the college ball will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're going to see a quarterback run, I think, right? No, that was
nice handoff.
Yeah.
Trying to catch as much of his pre-snap work as possible because the coaches say that's where he really differentiates himself. But it's hard to see exactly what he's doing in these coaches' film.
Yeah, because there's definitely times when he's getting up there and it's called and he's not having to check or anything like that. But you can see he's the only guy who when he's making a check at the line of scrimmage, he's never looking to the sidelines for help.
Yes, he's on his own in that case.
Yeah, but they're getting out there and they're putting it on him to see what's going on and make the checks.
He's a really good runner.
Yeah, he is. He's a big, strong guy. I would be a little concerned with him in the NFL. I don't want to see him necessarily taking on linebackers or safeties
because he can, but you shouldn't. Yeah.
There's a lot of Cam Newton to his game.
Agree.
Yes.
I think that's probably a more fair comparison than Josh Allen.
Yeah,
Josh Allen. That's a high bar.
Yeah, and the reason I say that the Newton thing is just because of the offense that they're running too. He's doing a lot of that running.
Yes.
Easy little curl out here to the right. The receiver didn't have to go down for that.
Yeah. And this is the kind of stuff you see Zach Wilson do a lot. Quick throwouts for curl.
Yeah.
Mac Jones too. Distribute the ball, get it out of your hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely parts of that for everybody's game.
Yeah. A little low, didn't have to go to his knees.
Yeah, I don't think he had to quite go down as far as he did. Then they do a little quarterback run here. This is something.
So Cam Newton, right?
Yeah, and this is something you could see. This is like kind of a similar play to the. Everybody's talking about Alex Smith right now. That's a similar play to the Alex Smith touchdown run against New Orleans.
Absolutely. I don't think there was any fake handoff. I think that was just a straight quarterback sweep or whatever you want to call it. But say it was left. It was to the left. You had the guys out in front. Yep.
Yeah, with the guys leading the way and kind of like a quarterback power almost.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And then this one's a really nice one. He's going to boot out to his right side. This is a nice ball. Don't really see him throw the deeper routes too often because they don't. But he really puts this one on him.
Ooh, with a guy in his face, doesn't set his feet. Nice. Mm-hmm. See, I like Mac Jones, but when you say, well, he's got some physical limitations. If Mac Jones found himself in this situation with the guy in his face and the receiver here, I don't know. I don't know if he'd make that throw.
He's not.
He's not.
He doesn't. When you watch him on film, he doesn't make that throw. He's going to stop, and the times when you see him doing this on film, he stops and he tries to, he doesn't just get the ball out of his hand like you see right here.
And it's hard to knock him. I mean, this is a really high. It takes a ton of athleticism to pull this off. A ton.
Yeah. It's a nice, that guy, that defender is doing a good job of trying to keep him in.
Yeah.
He shouldn't really be affecting the quarterback because there's plenty of space for him to get the ball out there.
And you see the power, the velocity, the low trajectory, the revolutions. I mean, yeah, hell of a throw.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if that ball's a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to complain too much on that one because it's put in a position where the DB doesn't have a chance of making the play. I like to see it up, but yeah,
it just seems that with all that he brings as a runner, with his athleticism and his mental game, that you're always going to be, working with his accuracy. It's never going to be maybe a strength of his game, but as long as it's good enough, all the other things about his game are so intriguing.
Yeah, and his accuracy isn't. I mean, it's not where he's completely missing it.
Right, he completed 66% of his throws. It's not like he was completing 56.
Right, and some of the times that some of his incompletions aren't on him. Some of them are the receivers, not getting open, and so he's kind of throwing it up, or then
dropping it like we saw earlier up the sideline.
Correct. Yeah, there's a few of those as well.
All right.
Little fly sweep.
A little fly sweep. So similarities between the offenses.
Yeah, so we're going to see a little on this one. We're going to get the running backs on this one.
Oh, this is pure 49ers here.
Yeah, little play action. He's going to wheel out.
Nice.
And he's got his choice on this one. He's got the tight end there. Maybe that's going to be a tougher throw.
81.
Yeah, he has him there if he wants to take that shot. He also has the running back in the hole, and that's where he goes. That running back's an easier throw.
Yeah, safer throw. And I'm not surprised it's the decision he made, considering he's the guy who committed no turnovers. It seems like you don't accomplish that making a bunch of risky throws.
Yeah, no, and it's the safer throw. The one to if he goes to the tight end right there, I think he's going to be fine because the corners on the outside and that safety is being stuck in the middle with the other tight end.
Right.
So,
right.
Is
this overly conservative? That's up to you to determine.
I like the fact though that he's throwing that ball right over the top of that linebacker, number 8. Watches rips it right over the top of him.
Yeah, that's adds to the difficulty of it. And look at the release; it's quick.
Yeah, it's quick and high.
Yeah, it's quick and high. He doesn't dip his head too much. Pretty good there.
Yeah, and you don't see the ball. I don't know if I've seen any of his passes actually get knocked down to the line of scrimmage.
That's interesting. You see that a lot with Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, those two.
Yeah. Yes. Mac Jones gets it. Yeah, that's one of his
fair amount.
Was from a batted pass.
Yes. Okay, under center, handoff.
Yeah, and then there'll be play action right here. He's going to go deep down the right sideline, if I remember correctly. Because this is again, they're going. They really run these flood kind of a concepts, but they don't get the flood on this one because they're just run out of room.
Yeah, interesting. He hesitates.
Yeah.
He is in position to throw it. The guy's not open. I get that. Hold on.
I think what happens there is he starts to get ready to throw it outside, and then he realizes he's not open, and so I think he throws it out of bounds.
And just throws it away.
Yeah, I don't think he really. Yeah. Because I think this ball ends up outside of the.
Yeah, it does. Interesting to ask him if this was an errant throw or what he wanted to do.
Yeah, because the ball almost lands in the bushes.
Yeah.
Let's
see where you're at now. 2nd and 10. 3rd and 10.
Yeah, 3rd and 10. And they're going to run they're going to run a little it's a screen to the running back over the middle.
Okay.
Easy throw. He allows him to come in. He's tall. He gets over the top of him though, and then the running back does the rest of the work.
Nice. Now, let's watch how he executes the screen pass because whoever the Niners get has to throw a lot of these. they're not going to eliminate the screens from their offense for the next quarterback. So,
oh no, that's a part of their game, and he does a good job here of just kind of backpedaling. He never really sets his feet. He's allowing those linemen to get up at him.
I like that he has the ability to shorten up his stroke as he's backpedaling. I think you have to do that in the NFL.
Yeah, you do.
I like that.
His release really isn't. He just doesn't have it a long. His release is quick.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Justin Fields, I feel like he just likes getting his release is longer. It's just longer.
It is. It just takes him, for whatever reason, it takes him a longer time to get the ball out of his hand.
Yeah. Okay, so he's under center now. Let's watch what he does. So he's at the line of scrimmage. He puts this guy in motion.
He's definitely making some checks.
Yeah, he's definitely communicating something. Is he changing the play entirely here? This is very interesting. You don't see quarterbacks do this in college.
No, not really.
Okay, so look, we don't know what the check was, but we know he changed something. Let's see if it works out. Let's see what his call is. He checked to a run. How about that? That says something about a quarterback to me. Did you check to a pass? Did you check to a run? You're a team guy. Now, the run wasn't particularly successful. Maybe he should have stuck with the pass. I don't know. But it's interesting.
Yeah, either that or it could have been a run that was going in a different direction as well.
Good point.
And he decided, that's one of the things like the coach had said was
good point.
It's not just in the play in the passing game, it's also in the run game based off of the front that he's being presented. When you look at this front, the right side looks better because of there's more of a bubble out there between the defense
98 and 21. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, right here in the middle between the guard and the defensive tackle and
sure. As opposed to this. Yeah.
Right. And so that's why I think he checks it to the other side.
The problem is you got about like 8 or 9 in the box here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm guessing they're winning by a fair amount, so they want to keep running the ball.
It's still early. I think it's 14 to it's either 14-0, 14-7, something like that.
Okay. 17 to 5. Yeah. Okay. So they're up 2 scores.
Yeah. And that's their game too, right? They're like the Alabama of 1AA in terms of their running game and their power. Okay.
So he flips the run from left to right, most likely here.
Yeah, that's what I think happens. You can see they're attacking that. They're trying to run the ball right where I just had mentioned. With
exactly. They're trying to take that hole and make it bigger, right? Blocking down. Double team there. Double team there. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And then they run it again here on 2nd and 7. Oh, the gun.
On left. Okay. So now we're going to get a little 3rd down action.
Yeah, so it's going to be 3rd and 4.
All right. Looks left, straight drop. Quick. I like his footwork.
Yeah. And it's pretty well. Quick. Yeah, see how he just doesn't have a hitch to his game. I mean, he gets that back foot, and it's not a big hitch. He's got to hitch up a little bit because he's got to be able to plant his foot and then drive. But it's not a – when you watch him, he hits his back foot, and he pretty much stays in that same area. When you watch Justin Fields, he hits that back step, and he gains yardage towards the line of scrimmage all the time.
Yeah.
You just don't see that with Lance. He has the ability to step up, but that's why the ball comes out of his hand quicker. He's in a position to throw the ball faster.
That's a cannon.
Yeah, and it's incomplete.
Yeah.
Right.
Was that an errant throw in your opinion? It's hard to see.
It's pretty tight coverage. He's throwing it where his only chance on this ball has got to be to the outside. Otherwise, that guy's going to be able to knock you down.
Yeah.
The receiver, it's a tough one for his receiver. That ball's coming at him so fast too.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
So I'd say it's a little errant. He could probably got that another, if he got that about foot inside a little bit more, he still would have been far enough away because you see the receivers really having to extend. You shouldn't have to extend quite that much.
That's true. And you see his head dip a little bit, which is something they're working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You see that little hitch on this little sinking of his hips. That's the problem.
Yes. And that's something they've acknowledged and they're working on.
Yeah. He needs to stay at the same level throughout.
Yeah. You don't want to be moving your eyes when you throw, hit a golf ball, do free throws, any type of repetitive motion, keep your eyes still.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hitting the baseball, all those things.
Oh yeah, it just make it harder for yourself if you lose your, especially hitting a baseball. I don't know how people do that with the leg kick and stuff. Like, man, keep your eyes still. Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna flip. A couple runs here on first and second down. They're gonna run it again here.
Okay. Outside zone action, or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then a little play action. He's going to boot out here again. It's interesting because when you watch him, this is one of the few games where you really see him working those downfield throws. The guy slips a little bit, but he sticks it right on him on the sideline. That's a nice ball.
That's a nice throw. Look at this, man. Look at that. That's a good athlete. Just rips this throw. I'm sorry. Everyone gets very excited about the throws that Zach Wilson makes, rolling out. He's not as good of an athlete as Trey Lance. He doesn't have the arm power, the speed, the size, nothing.
Yeah, that's a tight window throw right there, guys. Look at the receiver had slipped a little bit. DB's right on him, and he just. I mean,
what a throw! And I like how he gets the ball out. Again, he's got guy bearing down on him, and the ball is just out like a flick, real quick.
Yeah, I like how he gets a good amount of depth. So he's making this throw as he's moving to the line of scrimmage. There's a lot of little things about his footwork and the mechanics of this play that are nice. The fact that he's just gaining so much depth.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't feel like he's put the ball in harm's way yet.
No, I mean, that's about that one and the throw on the sidelines. That's really the only time. He doesn't really take a whole lot of risks.
I think that's fair to point out because if you like him, that's one of the main things you like about him. His maturity, how you can trust him to make the right decision when things break down.
Yeah, it is. It can be a little frustrating too because you can see throws that could be made that he maybe isn't taking.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing that I would say there. That's part of the reason that people get so frustrated with Garoppolo was because he doesn't take some shots that are there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You also,
and when he's on an NFL team, it's not going to be as dominant as North Dakota State, so he's going to have to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unless they're just unless the 49ers get their running game going, they're pounding people like they usually do.
Right.
Or try to.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more like what you usually see it with him is where they run the little play action a lot. It seems like about 75% of the time it's just a little boot, and he doesn't really go to the second level very much, which is the drag.
Yeah.
It's well covered on this one anyway, so he makes the right read.
Yes. I just like the attention to detail on the play fake and the naturalness of his rollouts.
Yeah.
He's very comfortable doing this stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, he's very smooth with it. He's got a few. When you watch him, there's definitely some examples, and I've shown him out there a few times on Twitter with him not making this throw. But he just does this so often, and it's an easy little throw.
Yep, and that's definitely in the Niners offense. Imagine him dumping it down.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to see Juszczyk gets the ball as much as he throws the ball to the tight end.
Absolutely.
To that guy.
Yeah, and maybe if the Niners draft Trey Lance, they'll actually start using Juszczyk.
Yeah.
In the passing game.
Uh-huh.
All right, nice little handoff cut back. Is he going to get to the pylon? No.
They're going to get him short here.
Great. Let's see what they can do at the goal line.
This is second and one, and down here they're going to run it.
One thing that's kind of underrated, but I've talked to coaches and quarterbacks about this. Some quarterbacks don't like it when you put people in motion because the defense shifts. And he had a picture, and now he has another picture, and he has to account for that. And he would just like the picture to be still. This guy, at North Dakota State, they have a motion every play, so clearly he's comfortable with that. That's good.
Yeah, and I think he knows where. I think part of it is that they know, or he has a pretty good idea of once that guy goes in motion, where everybody's going to end up.
That's good. That's good. I'm not saying that Mac Jones and Justin Fields don't. It's just demonstrable on film that this guy does. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do a lot.
Like I know, like Jim Plunkett in the '80s used to tell the coaches on the Raiders, like, don't. I mean, you can have motion like out here or something, but don't send a guy across my face. I don't want it. So there's some coaches. Great quarterbacks who are uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, they don't want to have they want to have the picture stay the same.
Correct. Yes. So you want your motion, do it out here with the wide receiver or something. Anyway, this is the Niners offense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's an errant throw.
Yeah, this is a little bit errant throw. On this one, you're right. On this one, they're going to come back to this play the next possession, but he should be reading the left side.
Okay.
He's chosen, and when they come back to it the next time, you're going to see because he draws back and he's reading the right side over here. If you look at the left side, he's got a couple of guys open. He's got his tight end sitting in the end zone.
Yeah, it's he's got 3-on-3, 87. Yeah, either one. Yeah, he's got both, and they're looking at
yeah. He's got the flat right open, and when the guy takes off to the flat, now he's got the tight end. So quick, right there, the flat looks open. He could have got him there, or he could have held on to it and stuck it to the tight end.
Right. As soon as he sees 3 defenders over 2, he should be looking back on the other side.
Yeah, and so that's what, and he kind of gets the look right here. It's just a bad throw, though.
Yeah.
The ball's just too high. If he could stick this on him, it's the way that the defense ends up covering out there on the right side. It works out in his favor. But that's a tougher throw than what he had on the other side.
Absolutely. But again, so it's not the right read, but he throws a pass that only is catchable by his receiver. It's not near turnover. You live to play the next play.
Yeah.
And you're still winning.
And I'm not going to say that it was a bad read because for the side that he looked at, he went to the right guy.
Right.
I just would have liked on the pre-snap for him to start off on the left side because the matchup and it was better over there.
And pre-snap, you do see 3 defenders over 2. I mean, unless one of these guys is blitzing, it's not where you want to go.
Yeah. On the other side, you got 3-on-3.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. Okay. Good to see. There's where you see the inexperience.
Yeah, and we'll see it because they're going to come back to that, and you can tell.
I'm sure it was the last play of the drive. The coach was like, "Hey, man, on the other side, you had it. We're going to come back. Look left."
Yeah, and what's interesting is when we watch it again, you can tell that North Dakota State's coaches had talked to their team on the sidelines, and you can tell that the Delaware coaches had talked to their teams on the sidelines because you'll see it's completely different.
Really Delaware saw it too. Delaware was like, "Hey, they're going to come back to that. Be ready for this because it was open. We got lucky."
Yeah. So here's that play that we talked about. I think it was one of the first plays of the game, right? So they run these curls with the tight end down the middle.
Yes.
I don't know why he's going to the seam here.
It's not a good
read. This one, he's well covered. He should be coming down here to the number 1.
Right. I mean, you see, to be fair, like you'll see Mac Jones throw some passes like this where the receiver's here and he's not open, and you're like, well, I'm just trusting him. And Mac Jones receivers are amazing. This guy's aren't. And he's not going to get bailed out. But it's not the best read. This guy's open. This guy's open. He could have taken that. But let's see. I'm just curious. I mean, let's check out this throw.
Yeah, the difference between Mac, you're right. The difference with Mac Jones making this throw where he is right here is that his tight end's usually going to get open because he's more athletic.
So you're throwing a very difficult pass to a guy who's not going to make an athletic catch or get open. It's a decent throw.
It's a tough one, but it's placed well because it's placed high into the out. It's like a back shoulder throw almost where it's placed. Yeah. He's not trying to make a deep throw where he's putting that up over the top of that linebacker. Because they're covered, he's trying to stick it back here. And the tight end's just not able to turn. And then the safety does a nice job of getting his hand up there too.
Yeah, so I mean, I see what you're saying. Not the best decision. Take what the defense gives you. It's a little over aggressive. It was an accurate throw, though.
Yeah, it's not a horrible throw. It's not at all.
Not a great decision though.
Yeah, and because of the coverage that he's got there, he's putting it in the right spot.
Yeah, it's almost like he predetermined that one. Like, you know what, we ran this play earlier. I want to take the shot this time.
Yeah.
All right, here he goes. A little play action.
This is the next play. It's a run.
Okay.
And then here, this one, they're going to get crossers. So you're going to see the tight end from the right side. He's going to try to pick this guy off. The linebacker, you see him, which frees up the guy coming across. That's the only guy that's open on this play. Is that little crosser. They do a really good job on the outside. So they're working that middle linebacker. They get the pick off of him. He doesn't really hit him, but it's enough to make him have to go underneath.
Yes. Good read. That's the guy who's open. Ball's on time. And not out in front, but chest high.
That's a good ball because he hits
a good ball.
That's right in
the numbers. Boom.
Yep.
Good. All right. Yep. Moving the chains.
Yeah, and they're going to come here, and this is the one that I was showing you. Watch this wheel route. He hits his back foot, barely hitches up so that he's balanced, and that ball comes out.
So easy. Oh, wow.
It puts it
My
right
goodness. That's a hell of a throw. We're going to look at him. I mean, he's throwing this ball. He's here.
Yeah.
That's great. Wow,
well,
Mac Jones will be impressed.
What's interesting on that one is when you go from the point where he starts to separate his hands, the receiver only travels 2 yards. I mean, that's how quickly, and that guy's going full speed. That's how quickly the ball comes out of his hand.
Okay, so let's do it here. From
right
there, he's at the 43.
Yeah, and the ball will be out by the time.
45. Yep. Ball's out of his hand right now. Yep.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I really like about his tight motion. And if his receivers would just keep their feet, he'd probably have more yardage.
Yeah, that's true. The tight motion and the surprising arm strength.
Oh, it just jumps out of his hand. That ball right there was 50 yards down the field, 48 yards down the field, and he's not even stepping into it. Just watch his feet.
Yeah, he's not even stepping into it.
It's not an overstride. He's not. I mean, he's driving it. That's where you get that little bit of that hip because he's got to get that.
That's just a step and a throw right there. I respect that. That's a nice throw.
And it's 48 yards downfield. That one that I showed yesterday with Justin Fields, he's throwing it 50 yards and he's hitched twice to make that ball get there.
Look, as a former baseball player, there's a difference. Like you can see, like an outfielder who has to like crow hop 7 times before they can get something on their throw, and a guy who can just kind of turn, step, and gun it. Like those are the pitchers. This is a nice throw. I couldn't do this. This is really good. Easy, man. Strong arm.
Yeah.
And perfectly placed.
Yeah, it's right there. Perfect. It's,
Jimmy could never. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Jimmy.
No.
Okay. All right. So here he's in the gun.
Yeah. Go back
and off. They're really letting him play quarterback in this game. This is amazing.
Yeah. Well, Delaware's doing a better job of stopping them on the run. They're getting some big gains, but they're doing a better job of sticking with them.
Yes.
So for this play right here, this is that same play we just saw. Remember I told you I'm going to come back to it?
Yes.
It's the same exact thing, except for this time Delaware doesn't. They've changed.
And 4. They got 4 over here now. Yep.
Yeah, and so they're able.
They have 7 in coverage. Okay.
Yeah, they're able to jump that flat much quicker. He does it. He makes the right read. That's the only place that he can go to the ball. He does a good job of getting out to him quick. But the defense is adjusted. Their call's better, and he sticks it on him.
Yes. And this is a really nice performance from Trey Lance so far. I mean, he's 19 years old. The athleticism is off the charts, and he has not put the ball in harm's way one time, not once.
No, not at all.
Now he may, but that's a touchdown pass.
Yeah, and that's an easy one. This is where they're using his athletic ability to kind of screw people up, because you're going to see him, he makes a quick move to the right, and they're designing him to step right and then come back left. This is all by design.
Right.
Boom.
It looks like it's going to be quarterback power to the right, and defense overreacts because they've been practicing all week to stop that one, and boom.
Yep.
82, probably fakes a block at first. Not even, just runs around, and all eyes on Trey Lance. Boom, boom, easy. Moving left, though.
Yeah.
Nice. It's very natural for him.
The one thing to notice about that route on the tight end, though, is when they're trying to run that quarterback's run, right? He's going to hook that defensive end, right?
Yep.
And so when you watch him step out of the line of, step off the line of scrimmage, you see his first step is like that hook block.
Yep.
Before he goes across. I mean, just little subtle things like that are
make it work. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That make it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking, is he ever going to put the ball in harm's way? And is his accuracy so bad that it's a deal breaker? So far, he looks accurate enough to me, considering all the other things he brings.
Yeah. No, it is. It's accurate enough, and it's something that he can improve upon.
Yes.
I think some of his inaccuracy also has to do with the guys he's throwing the ball to.
No question. They're not going to bail him out. You know what I mean?
Right. This is one of those situations. This is a play right here where I'd really like to see him hit that number 1. He's open right now to throw him the ball. It's not that hard of a throw to get that ball up and over. He takes the shorter route, which is to the flat, to the tight end.
Yeah.
I really like to see, and you just don't really ever see him get his head to number 2.
Interesting.
But that's okay at the same time, though, because this guy's getting the ball, right? Imagine this is this is the 49ers, and if they're running this and you've got Kittle coming across, you've got Juszczyk catching that ball in the flat. I'm fine with Juszczyk catching that ball and doing the work.
Right.
Right.
That could be a big play. That could be, you want that. You want the ball in those guys' hands.
Yeah, that's a 10-yard play. I'm not going to complain about that. If it's a 10-yard play, I don't have to worry about a risk of the ball getting batted up in the air or something like that.
Right. Okay, so we got 27-5, and we're, I think, in the third quarter here. Just give us some context.
Yeah, and they're going to run the ball the next 2 plays.
I would imagine. Yeah. I'm just trying to break Delaware's will here.
Yeah, but they're doing a good job, so they're stuck on 3rd and 7.
Oh. Okay. Wait a second. I would say that's a little behind him, but he's, keeping the ball away from this safety who's going to destroy him.
Yeah, so the ball just comes out a little bit late. The ball should have been out right now.
See. Almost hits the ref in the head.
Yeah. If he throws that ball about it goes right by his ear, man. Holy moly.
You gotta love that, man.
Yeah. If he had led that guy, he would have bounced right off that guy's forehead. Holy moly.
One thing, like, watching film makes me realize, like, how dangerous. What are you doing, man? Get off the field. These, like, 55-year-old guys just casually standing in the middle of this chaos. Like, yes, it'll be fun.
Yeah. That ball needs to come out sooner. Like, if we go back to the all-22 really quick. Watch.
It could come out.
It needs to come out right now.
Oh yeah, he hesitated big time.
Yeah, he gets that extra hitch. That's the Justin Fields hitch that I talk about, where it's that.
Oh yeah.
Late. He's got to see it. He's got to be throwing the ball now. That's the difference between. That's where Jones separates himself from these guys.
Yes.
Is that ball coming out alternately.
Absolutely. Yes. Jones is off the charts in accuracy, anticipation, and decision making. You just question his overall upside, although Joe Montana was pretty good. So hard to say.
Yeah, he's limited with his arm strength.
No question. So is Joe. I mean, I guess a lot depends on where these quarterbacks go.
Yeah, but it's different now. When Montana was playing, those receivers weren't as fast as they are now.
True.
And that's part of it.
So you weren't leaving as many deep passes on the field.
Well, the thing is, like I tweeted out yesterday, there's a shot of the Justin Fields touchdown throw against Penn State, right, where they run the wheel route down the left sidelines and he throws that ball down there. It's a touchdown.
Yeah, I've seen it a million times.
Yeah, this is a nice decision here.
See, this is, to me, people watch this and you're not going to see people like put a clip of this on Twitter, but it's very mature quarterbacking from a 19-year-old in college. I mean, goes through his reads and hits the check down. That's nice. Yeah, he's an athlete.
And he does it quick.
Yeah. I mean, if Justin Fields did this, his fans would be so impressed.
Yeah, and it's nice. He's got that wheel route that's kind of coming open late, but he's getting pressure at the same time. The fact that he hits his back foot, steps up, and gets it out there. I mean, that's a really nice. That's a nice play. The wheel route opens up late, but he doesn't have the time to hold on to it.
That's right.
And so he's feeling the pressure. He's stepping up and making the throw that he needs to make at that moment, which is really nice.
That's right. Nice. That's good. This is why I'm intrigued by Trey Lance, and I felt I wrote him off too quickly. I feel like decision making and problem solving is an intrinsic trait that basically expresses itself at a young age, and it's not scouted well enough in quarterbacks. It's really important. It can't be coached. Look at Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think this guy's got it, which makes me – it's intriguing. I mean, how many quarterbacks really have it? A lot of these guys are great if you give them, a script, great arm, great legs. But what about when things don't go according to plan? Those are the special ones.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed. Because I was with you when we did his first breakdown. That was, you got to remember that was one of our first breakdowns. We'd done one before that, and so the more that we've watched him, and I've seen all of these guys play, and then going through and really starting to really dig into it, he's way better than I gave him credit for back in.
Agree, and I think he's one of the more interesting and difficult evaluations I've ever come across. There's not very much film of him, and anything you think you like, do you really know it's there? Anything you think you don't like, is it really real? I mean, it's tough, but the more that you talk to people who've been around him, the more you feel confident in his upside.
Yeah, and the more I've watched of him, the less that I think that he's he's running too often. Like this one right here, this is a good decision to run. Look at the coverage downfield.
Yeah.
There's nobody open. And I like the fact that he's escaping this right up the middle of the pocket.
Good point.
You know, he's not really able to get down because he starts to get grabbed as he's running through. I don't want to see him taken on or getting hit by a linebacker quite like that. You know,
right in the throwing shoulder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, and then
I like his play fakes too. He commits to him. He hides the ball. He gets his head around fast.
This is nice right here. He sticks this ball to that tight end in the back line.
Oh yeah, that is nice. Very confident play.
Yeah, I mean that's tight. He's got to stick it in there, and he just look at that ball. That guy doesn't have a choice. That ball's going to either going to catch or it's going to get stuck in his ribs.
And like Josh Allen and Carson Wentz, very natural throwers on the run. They're almost better throwing on the run, like off platform. Just be an athlete, man. They're great at it.
Yeah, that's
a really nice ball. Because when he's in the pocket, then he has this issue with his, dipping his hips and all these mechanics that he's been working on. But when you're running, you don't have to think about anything. Just throw.
Yeah, it's just all natural at that point.
It's all natural. And I thought, I saw that in Carson Wentz when they played the Niners that day. It was so obvious. Like, he wanted to get out of the pocket. It's where he was comfortable throwing. When he's in the pocket, it's like a guy thinking through his steps, dancing, like, and 1 and 2 and look natural. It's like, no, man, come on, man, just go be an athlete.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Lance is like that, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Like one of those guys on Dancing with the Stars. That's out there.
Absolutely. It's like, I've been practicing all week to do this correctly. Like, nah, man, come on, loosen up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. This one's a pretty one right here too. This is a nice one. It's going to be a play action. He's going to throw this little out route to the right side, but this is nice because it's high, but it's got to be high because he's got that under the 19's in the way. So that ball's got to be. He's got to get that ball over him, and he's able to throw this ball and get it over the top of the defender. This is one of the things that I knocked him for in our initial breakdown was not throwing to guys where he's got to get over people.
Yes.
Do you remember?
He's doing it. Yeah, I do remember that.
And 19's right there, and he puts it right over the top of him. It looks like an inaccurate ball, but that's where he has to throw it in order to get it over the top of him.
And I like how quickly he sets up. I think his footwork is crisp. He has no wasted motion. Boom. I mean, Brady, I'm not comparing him to Brady, but Brady's has no wasted motion in his footwork. I like that.
Yeah, and this one's he's hitting his back foot. They're running this deep route. The receiver just gets tackled. 21 knows he's beat. He just tackles him.
Yeah, because it's smart play in college. 15-yard penalty on a spot foul.
But like watch him though. He hits his back foot, and it's on like the 48-yard line, 47-yard line. But his hitch up doesn't move him forward. He stays in that same spot. If he needs to, he can hitch up after that. But he's planted and ready to throw now. He's just kind of reading the defense, and he knows he has time.
And a guy who does that has a really strong arm. Very confident in his arm strength. You know who else does that, Brady?
Yeah, I mean, look at that. See, he's sitting right there. He sits right on that.
Yeah.
He's right on the spot.
Really strong arm. Woo. Okay, so they get the penalty.
Yeah, there's only 2 more throws.
Good. We're coming up on an hour.
Yeah, we are.
All right. This play didn't count. Yeah.
Yeah, that play didn't count, but it's still a nice easy read. And he does a good job of getting it out of his hand.
Yeah. Boom, easy.
And they're going to go back to a little waggle action here. They really like to boot him out.
Of course.
And they're running. It's a flood concept out here. Deep's covered, middle's covered, goes to the flat. Not a whole lot out of that.
He seems more accurate on the run. That's the way I'll put it. He seems more accurate on the run.
Yeah, he's pretty.
Not that he's inaccurate from the pocket. It's so natural for him.
I think the best way of saying that is that he's a little more consistent with his accuracy on the run.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yep. And this next one is a really interesting play. And we actually saw this is the next one that's going to come up is one that we saw Texas A&M run against Alabama. So they're running 4 verticals here against 2 deep safeties. Well, but on the 2 deep safeties, these 2 guys convert their routes to ends. And it's pretty well covered. And then he's got to step up. But he stays in the pocket. He's not hitting that back foot and just looking. He's looked over here. He knows it's covered, but you see him come back to the right side before he starts to move.
Yes. Now he's looking to his second receiver. He's not there. He's stepping up in the pocket, and he did the right thing.
Yeah, he does the right thing. I mean, for a split second, it looks like that outside in route's going to come open. But
yes, but it's not.
It's not open. There's no way. Because if he throws that ball, there's 19's going to be able to react to that ball.
Yeah,
and he does a nice job of pulling it. He's just not able to get away from the.
So again, he could have thrown a pick here. A lot of quarterbacks would have let it rip and taken their chances. He doesn't do that. This guy is a mature, safety first quarterback.
Yeah, and the bigger takeaway of this, that's one. The other takeaway of the fact that he gets to that back foot, and you see him reading left.
Yes,
and you see it. You see it's covered, and you can clearly see him turning to the right side and reading that before he takes off and moves. It's really nice, and you see him do that quite a bit. He doesn't. There's very few times where he just hits that back foot and he's gone, and he sees pressure.
He's not. Yeah, gotcha. So he really wants to be a quarterback first.
Yeah, he really wants to be able to play from the. He wants to throw the ball.
Yes.
And it's funny because I hadn't really seen a whole lot of this guy other than what we've seen here on film. And I saw a thing on ESPN last week where they were talking about him and they showed some high school clips of him.
Yeah.
And the guy looks just like the same guy in high school, rolling out, throwing the ball, all kinds of stuff. He doesn't throw the ball again the rest of the game. They got him out now.
Okay. So it's the Steph Curry treatment.
Yeah. All right. I mean, they're up by 40, they're up by like 20 something here late in the game.
Well, that was really interesting. I mean, I hadn't seen that game against Delaware yet. They really used him like a quarterback. It looked like he threw the ball a cool 25 times. I don't know how many it was, but it looked very accurate to me in that game. He never even came close to turning the ball over. I don't know.
No, he has. If you go through and you watch all of his film, there's going to be balls that are going to be close. But
sure, every quarterback. But in this particular game, I mean,
really
not in this one. Not in this one.
Really and Delaware's one of the better teams they played all year long. So and they forced him to have to beat them. Really nice.
I just like how comfortable he is with the pro style stuff that he would have to do with the Niners. Being under center, all that stuff you got to do pre-snap, and how comfortable he is throwing on the run, and how much he protects the ball. If they have an issue with Jimmy Garoppolo, it's because of that kind of stuff, turnovers and stuff. So it would make sense to bring in someone who's actually a demonstrably better decision maker. I mean, you could quibble with some of his reads, but it's not like he ever had a play where he was about to get sacked and he just threw the ball up just because you only live once. You know what I mean? He didn't have any YOLO plays. He's not a YOLO quarterback.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have any. No, you're 100% right. No, he doesn't have any of those. He's very cautious. One of the knocks that I saw against him was that he's so cautious with the ball, and he is. There's times. There's also, like I said, on that one time where he's rolling out, he has the number 2 receiver on the deep. That's going to be a tougher throw. Instead, he takes the underneath one. It's an easy throw. Let the guy be an athlete and make the play for you. That's
absolutely. And another quarterback I like is Kellen Mond, who's also safe. You know. Like he committed only 3 turnovers, and that's the biggest knock on him too. Like, hey, air it out, take some chances. It's interesting. Everyone looks for different things in quarterbacks. I just feel like I had an epiphany this morning or yesterday with the whole decision-making thing. Like, that is the issue with Jimmy. Let's be really clear. The durability is a problem. The lack of a deep ball and mobility is a problem, but it is the turnovers and the decision-making. The fact that they took the ball out of his hands because he was throwing it around to the Vikings in the first game of the playoffs. And then I'll never get over the interception he threw in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl. I mean, you were going down, dude. Just go down. Don't throw the ball up for grabs. Joe Montana never did. It's the Super Bowl. It's the biggest game in your life, and there's no guarantee you'll ever make it back. And you were just like, hey, man, let's see who catches it. Nope.
Yeah, I really think that's one of the worst interceptions I think we've seen in the Super Bowl. I mean, just you don't really, if you go back and I don't know, but that was a really bad one, and people just kind of seem to blow that off. That's what that was a big play right there. That gave KC a 7-point lead.
And Cap threw a pick in his Super Bowl as well. It was a high pass to Randy Moss, who made no effort. I always thought that was a worse look on Randy Moss. Like, dude, try. But that's Randy Moss. And it was not a bad decision. It was a bad throw. That was the worst decision, Jimmy Garoppolo. But that's the thing with Jimmy, man. Twice or 3 times a game, bad Jimmy shows up, and you don't know when it's going to be, and he could lose the game for you, even though he's 22-8 as a starter.
Yeah, no, you definitely see that from him, and I think the other thing is, just his decision, not just his decision making, but his seeing the field. I don't think is where they want it either.
Last question, then we got to go. Raymond says, Jack, love your film breakdowns. Why are people in denial about Fields' decision making? They act like you should, like you showed some bias in your film breakdown.
Yeah, I don't really know, because the more you watch of Fields, if you watch all of his games from 2020, he really struggles when he's has to sit in the pocket and make throws. He does make some, but he also has times where he gets back there, and it's not necessarily where he makes the wrong throw, but it's because then he takes off, or he has the opportunity to throw and he runs instead because he can't seem to sit in the pocket with pressure. It's really
what I see from Fields too is just a hesitation constantly. Like everything is just a tick too slow, and it's okay. It works out. He's at Ohio State and he's got a gun, but there's a constant hesitation. And then when he's under pressure, when there's a blitz, when someone breaks through and his line doesn't block it up correctly, he can make bad plays and make them worse. I mean, you look at Indiana, there's so many plays where it's like, dude, just take the sack. It's not your fault. You didn't miss the block. Where he's going on his back and he's almost on the ground and he throws it up. And it's like, man, if that's your instinct on a football field, I don't know if I can work with you, man. You might be a good quarterback, but that's going to hold you back from being great. And we're looking for greatness at the number 3 pick.
Yeah, and the thing when you talk about Justin Fields, the first thing everybody says is they bring up the Clemson game. The Clemson game was terrific. He played great in that game. But there's 7 other games of him being inconsistent throughout. Even games they're winning, they're not even in the national championship game. They're not even in the playoffs probably. If the running back doesn't run for almost 300 yards against Northwestern.
Real quick, Amit says, only thing I hope Trey Lance fixes is having a more consistent base. I play quarterback. That's why someone would have extra hitches. That makes timing bad. Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to learn that part of the game. Just like Carson Wentz and Josh Allen, he's most comfortable rolling out, just like Zach Wilson too. So,
yeah. And Justin Fields is the one that actually has worse hitches. The problem that Lance has in his base is the eye level moving.
Yep.
And he has a sinking of the hips at times when he starts to drive. So it's about keeping everything that same level. And that's really.
And what's funny is like it's just a bad habit. If I'm imagining the coaches telling him, man, you don't need to do that. You don't need extra power. You have the strongest arm of anyone in this draft, stronger arm than Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. You don't need to do this. You got it just with your arm and your hip torque. Stop doing that.
Yep.
Stop.
Yep. Yeah. And that's like, yesterday with the one throw, everybody gets excited with that deep throw. The one throw that I saw from him yesterday that I liked was the one where he spins out to his left and he throws the little out route. You know what I'm talking about, where he just kind of rolls out there and you just see him kind of just basically just flicks his wrist and the ball just jumps out of his hand. That one, that's the one. If you want to say anybody looks like
Josh
Patrick
Allen.
Mahomes, Allen or Patrick Mahomes. That's the one. I mean, he just kind of comes around. He flicks that ball out there, and that thing's such a tight spiral, And then they're in that dome, so every ball sounds like a slap off the guy's hand.
That when I was watching Josh Allen in college, that's what I noticed. Like, wow, he's just flicking it, and it's like, wow, I've never seen anything like that. So the more I watch Trey Lance, the more I'm impressed by his arm strength, and people that I trust question his accuracy. That's fine. Looked fine in this game, so we'll have to watch more.
Yeah, and those people that are questioning his accuracy, that's fine. That's the same question everybody had about Josh Allen, was his accuracy, right? Yep. It wasn't his decision-making. Chris Sims broke that down really nice. I don't usually listen to Chris Sims, but I caught some of his stuff people have been sending me, and he was talking about that, where with Trey Lance, you don't the difference between Josh Allen and like Justin Fields, right? It was Trey when Allen was at Wyoming, you saw him making plays that he needed to make
for them to compete.
Yeah. And then as the talent around them got worse, you saw them throwing more on his plate. And so then you saw him his decision making start to tumble because he's just having to make a play.
Right.
And that's the stuff that these other guys, you see them just making some bad throws. And Trey Lance is really, really strong with that.
All right, the show is over. This is the last donation. You guys are so generous. Please stop. The show is over now. PTC says 40 times Allen 475, Mahomes 48, Jimmy G 497, Mac Jones 479. It's a difference between not having to run and not capable of running. Yeah, Jimmy G's really slow and Mac Jones is faster. That's a good point. What do you guys say?
All I was going to say about that is I totally get the 40 times. The one thing that I really like, I think is underrated about Mac Jones is his ability to move within the pocket. He's very quick laterally. I think that comes from his tennis background. His ability to go side to side, forward and forward, that short area burst. He's very good at that. But if you ask him to take off and run a 40-yard sprint, he's not going to make it. But he's got a good burst. But
all I'm saying is, if the Niners draft Mac Jones, I want to see him one-on-one against Josh Rosen in tennis, because Josh Rosen's a hell of a tennis player too. Josh Rosen might have been the great American hope if he had gone into tennis. I don't know.
That'd be great, right? Get those two guys. Heck with the ping pong table, take him out to the tennis court.
If it's ping pong, CJ Beathard's got him. If it's tennis, I don't know. Zach, thanks so much. This was actually might have been one of my favorites that we've done. This was very interesting and illuminating. Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We got 540 people watching a film breakdown. How about that?
Nice.
That was cool. All right. You guys are all smarter because of today. You're welcome. See you next time.